Hey, do you like movies? You do? Then I bet you're already very familiar with our friends over at Vinegar Syndrome. Vinegar Syndrome is one of the leading exploitation and grindhouse preservation and distribution companies in the world. The company was started by cinephiles Joe Rubin and Ryan Emerson and was said to be, quote, perhaps the most important home video label in the world of genre film by the Alamo Drafthouse. Holy shit, that is one hell of an endorsement.
A big part of that is because of a three-step process I lovingly refer to as the 3 R's. Recover, restore, and release. Vinegar Syndrome has an expansive film archive of over 500 feature films, and they also work closely with archival institutions like the Museum of Modern Art, the Academy... Yeah, MoMA! The Academy Film Archive, the Library of Congress, UCLA, and the Walker Center. I can't even count how many of their releases have either never gotten a physical release or haven't been seen since the days of VHS. Many of these films look better than they have any right to look.
My favorite thing about Vinegar Syndrome is that they have their own in-house lab, which they use to restore these films to all of their glory. I can honestly say that I have never seen any grain reduction or digital trickery on their discs. Vinegar Syndrome was one of our first sponsors, and I'm overjoyed to say that they've stuck with us for 5 years.
I'm still surprised we stuck around for 5 years, to be completely honest with you.
That we've stuck with each other.
Yeah, I know. I really thought we'd be done after the first couple months in the first season.
We're still kicking, baby!
Yeah, we are. So check out their website today to pick up your copies of the Forgotten Jolly collections 1, 2, and 3. Though one might be out of print, so if you see it, make sure you grab it. Satan's Blood, Fade to Black, a VHS favorite amongst a lot of cinephiles that was unable to be released for a very long time. Taxi Girls, Don Coscarelli's Beastmaster, an HBO late-night favorite. The 3D film Silent Madness, and the weirdo French Christmas horror film Dial Code Santa Claus, aka Deadly Game, and many, many more.
Visit them today at vinegarsyndrome.com and let them know that the Shameless Picture Show sent you.
That's right, vinegarsyndrome.com for all the cult, horror, exploitation, and vintage porn you could ever want.
However much that may be.
Yeah, exactly.
Those of you who have been listening to the last handful of episodes, you may have noticed, particularly in my track, if you can distinguish between the two, every once in a while there'd be this like sound, and that's because this nice audio rig that you may or may not be seeing, I couldn't get to work for a while, so I just had the earbuds with the microphone on it, the microphone would rub against my beard and make that lovely sandpaper sound.
Ah.
Well, I finally figured out, so I have 4 of these little adapter widgets. Mm-hmm. Since my MacBook only, I forget what they're called, USB-C or Thunderbolt or Lightning, very, very frightening, ports. So for this Christmas production that we did, we were doing 3D projection mapping for all of the sets. So my laptop was running 5 projectors, sending video to 5 separate projectors. So I had 4 of these. One of them had an additional widget that split it one additional way. And they're by 3 different companies because of how I had to source them. Well, one of them won't power my USB audio I/O for some reason. So I didn't realize that this was the problem because it was only happening when I would bring this rig home, and at work it worked just fine. It's because the widget that I had in my bag is the one that didn't work, and the ones that work were fine. So I finally tracked it down, finally found the problem, brought the right widget home, got it going. Now I can use my fancy mic, and you won't hear the beardy sound against the mic. Unless you want to, I can still rub my face on the mic if it.
I feel like there's a part of me that's going to miss the beard, but I think it's better for all of us by not having it. It's better for everyone listening. It's better for our audio. It's just probably better for people.
Well, if any audience members want me to rub my beard against them in order to reenact what they miss with my low-tech solution, you just let me know. Find me on Facebook, and we'll make that happen.
But they can't find you
find me on Facebook, which is why it's okay that I was being kind of weirdly sexual to anonymous people, because there was no promise, like no way for them to cash in on the offer.
That's fair. But what's been going on with you, Nick?
So it's election season.
Yes.
And I have in this current atmosphere of political anarchy on the national level, I have decided that a lot of positive change can happen on the local level politically.
Okay.
So there's not much we can do except voting for president, which feels like a drop in the... Like, it feels like it has such a small impact. But your impact locally can make a really big difference on the area you live. And that bigger change in the smaller pond will have ripple effects that move upward, right? The things that you do locally can impact things on the state level, and things that you do on the state level can have impacts on the national level. So that's where I've kind of been putting my faith and my energy, and part of the way that I've done that is through the public access TV station that I operate.
Give them a plug, Nick.
Midshore Community Television in Easton, Maryland, home to Talbot County's blah, 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 blah.
And Rabbi Roundtable.
And the Rabbi's Roundtable. But we have been doing, like, civic engagement work. So we interviewed all of the county candidates before the primaries. And then after the primaries, just this last weekend, I organized with a couple of local partnerships a community like town hall / debate with the 10 candidates, and it was really successful for that level of thing. You know, where the video, which happened on Sunday, has just shy of 1,000 views, which for a local county council debate, I think is pretty respectful. I think it felt like doing good work at a local level, and I hope it helps inform our voters, and I hope that in mentioning it here that it might inspire some other people who have the same existential dread that I have about politics to look locally and see what you can do there. Volunteering, working at a polling place, not as a weird MAGA vote identifier, but just do the work and learn what the process is, because the more you learn about politics, the less likely you are to dismiss it as bullshit without really knowing what you're talking about. There's definitely bullshit in politics all over the place, but until you invest yourself in the process, until you're watching meetings and sitting in meetings and helping the poll workers doing that work, that's when you can actually find out where the bullshit is and where the real work is, and then you can try to make a difference.
That was very Mr. Smith Goes to Washington of you.
Well, thank you.
Well, fuck, I don't know how to top that. That was a really engaging, political pep talk. Fuck, I feel inspired now.
Yeah. Go be a poll worker. Go watch a town council meeting. Or city council meeting, I guess, where you're at.
Yeah, I guess it is a city, yeah. I kind of forget you don't live in a city because, everything is 30 minutes away where you live.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't been up to anything, that's been causing real change,
I wouldn't say that. You have some I don't know how much you are allowed to talk about some of the things that you have going on, but you've been hitting me up, and you've got a lot of really exciting things.
I could pretty much talk about it. I'm not like under like any like NDAs or anything.
Okay.
It's all just like small independent shit. But so I'm sure some of you who are frequent listeners have noticed that things have been coming out just a little bit slower than we would like to. And it's just because one, it's sometimes difficult for me and Nick just to get on the same page with each other. Not that like we're not on the same page, but like just to get our shit together. And
we're grown ups with lives. Who,
yeah. And
we're passionate about this, but like there are other things that we just have to prioritize as human beings.
Yeah. Well, and so one of those things is I just shot a new movie, and it's the first movie I've made in like 7 years. Like, not including, like, little videos and, like, music videos and stuff. Like, this is the first narrative piece I've done in a while. And I just forgot how many fucking phone calls you have to take when you're making something.
Pre-production sucks.
And you're like, you get home from work and you're like, I work in a job where I talk on the phone a lot. And then, like, I'm kind of all phone called out. And then I was like, oh, shit, I got to call this makeup artist. I got to call this actress. I got to do, meet with this person or do whatever. And then, the movie just kind of came together really fast. We set a date because I know myself sometimes. If I don't set just a date, I will keep finding reasons to keep pushing it off just because I'm a perfectionist. And if everything is not perfect, we can't do it yet. So thankfully, my producer and cinematographer kind of like pushed me a little bit and just said, well, let's shoot for at the time it was first weekend of October, and this was like end of August, and I was like, it seems like a lot of time. I think we can get it together. And I blinked. It was like, oh fuck, we're shooting in a weekend, and it came together really well. I'm not going to spoil too much of the plot, just because that one I do want to keep under wraps when people see the film. But it was, it's produced by a gentleman named Zach Brady and myself. He's also the cinematographer, and it was written by Dick Gernert and myself. Dick Gernert, for some of you who have seen anything he's done, he was a writer on Adventure Time. So
that excites me so much.
And then I just pretty much finished the final cut of a music video, which should hopefully be coming out soon. So things are happening.
One thing that we should say, I don't remember the phrase from the meeting, so hopefully you can help me out. But we should mention Cinepunk's October event thingy.
Cineween.
So while this is not a horror episode per se, I'm guessing we'll do a Halloween episode next. We should not Halloween the movie necessarily, but a Halloween type movie. This one episode should be dropping in October. Mm-hmm. I can do the edit turnaround pretty quick, and we should mention that it is Cineween for our podcast network.
So on cinepunks.com, that's CINEPUNX.com, their big thing that they do every year is Cineween. And that's, originally it was, different articles every single day of, trying to, promote the love for horror films. It's augmented a little bit because there's fewer articles going up. They're still happening, but we try to do some more spooky fun during Cineween. So definitely check out the Cinepunks website and check out some of the previous Cineween years. And like I said, there's a lot of other great podcasts on this network who are doing some spooky stuff. There's, if you want horror content, there's the podcast Horror Business. There's Twitch of the Death Nerve, the Carnage Report. There's a lot of good stuff up on there.
I'm really excited to dive into the different, our new podcast neighbors and check out the content there.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, if you like horror, like the Twitch of the Death Nerve podcast is a lot of fun, and they're really in depth but still a great listen. But before we get to the topic at hand and actually start the episode proper, I do want to at least mention some of the Cinepunks sponsors while we're at it. I haven't written any of this down, so I'm just kind of winging it here. But first off, so as I said, we are on the Cinepunks network at this right now. They are, hosting the show. They're promoting us. They're giving us a way to thrive, and to keep that going, we have sponsors. So first off, there's Lee Valley Apparel Creations. They are the premier screen printing of Lee Valley with service to the entire country. They are professional and they're personable in a way that only a DIY business can be. Plus, they're ridiculously affordable for whatever your screen printing needs may be. And you can find them at xlvacx.com. That's xlvacx.com. And then also, there's the Essex Coffee Roasters. It's coffee roasted to order, high quality beans. They also sell apparel and tea. I was gonna say teas, but it's not like t-shirts, but like actual like drinking tea.
Basically, all the sponsors have something to do with the word tea.
Exactly, but they bring high quality coffee to the masses without the pretentious, coffee snob attitude. And you can, if you use the code Cinepunks at checkout, you get 10% off. So that's EssexCoffeeRoasters.com. It's weird doing sponsors for like sponsor ads for like places that I haven't brought into the fold. It's kind of fun. Was there anything else you want to talk about before we talk about the topic at hand?
Nope, let's get to it.
Alrighty.
Warning! This movie podcast actually discusses movies. Be aware that it may discuss any of the following elements: endings, surprise twists, unexpected cameos, and all manner of spoilers. Without further ado, please enjoy our feature presentation, The Shameless Picture Show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Shameless Picture Show. I am Michael Viers, and with me, as always, is a man who steals all of my best lines and even cut me out of episode 2 entirely.
Nick Richards!
There's so many great quotes in this movie, but it was actually hard to find one for this intro. Alright, so it's no secret that we here at the Shameless Picture Show love Star Trek. While I'm a far newer fan than my co-host, I have found myself drawn to it more and more since our pilot episode where we discussed 3 episodes from The Next Generation. I have become so into it that I've not gotten very far, but I've started the journey of watching through Star Trek in order of stardate.
Something that I have always wanted to do, I am very jealous.
And after talking with Nick and reading some stuff online, everyone agrees that is kind of a phenomenal way to go through it. But it was kind of a big shocker for me that when I found out my co-host hadn't seen arguably the greatest love letters to Star Trek ever made, next to the documentary Trekkies, which I watched all the time as a kid, even though I had not seen Star Trek, which is super weird.
And I haven't seen Trekkies.
Well, now you have to. But anyways, today we're discussing the film that Birth Movies Death has said is the 7th best Star Trek film ever made. Dean Parisot's cult classic, Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest is a beloved science fiction series from the 80s. It captured the imagination of its watchers and changed the lives of many. Fans from all over gather to meet their favorite characters at GalaxyCon, the world's largest Galaxy Quest fan convention. Everyone is excited to be there, except for the actors from the show. They're sick and tired of being known for this one role and wonder, is this all we're meant for? Except Jason Nesmith, who plays Commander Taggart on the show. He revels in his stardom and has no qualm stealing work from his fellow cast members. However, everything changes when a group calling themselves the Thermians beg Nesmith to help save their planet. Thinking it's just some overzealous nerds role-playing, Jason agrees to help them until they zap him off to space, where he sees these intergalactic superfans have recreated this fictional ship from his show, the NSEA Protector. Their show may have been canceled, but their adventure is just beginning. I stole that from one of the taglines from the show.
Nice.
Galaxy
That was
Quest.
good.
Galaxy Quest was well reviewed by critics and was a hit amongst moviegoers. The film was made for $45 million and managed to make $90 million at the box office. And that's not even accounting for DVD and VHS sales, which at that time in 99 probably doubled the amount of money it made. However, the Galaxy Quest love has not died down. While it's considered by some to be a cult classic, many influential names have praised the film, including influential playwright and filmmaker David Mamet, who listed Galaxy Quest as being a perfect film.
Oh, wow.
Galaxy, and it's on the list along with The Godfather.
Whew.
Galaxy Quest was directed by Dean Parisot from a script written by David Howard and Robert Gordon. The film was shot by Jerzy Zielinski with music by my boy David Newman of Heathers fame, starring Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, Tony Shalhoub, Daryl Mitchell, and Sam Rockwell as Guy Fleegman. From 1999, this is Galaxy Quest.
In the far reaches of the galaxy, a civilization is under siege.
We are all that is left.
They've searched the universe for a leader.
Stay tuned for scenes from next week's Galaxy Quest.
Never give up. Never surrender.
He will save us.
What they got
Never give up and never surrender.
were struggling TV actors.
You are our last hope.
Where's my limo?
Okie dokie.
And they're about to put on a command performance 8 million light years away.
We are actors, not astronauts.
You are our protectors.
That was a hell of a thing.
Now,
Laredo, take us out.
You gotta move to the right.
Would you sit your ass down? You want to drive this thing?
acting like heroes.
The whole thing was just a misunderstanding.
May not be enough.
They look like little children. Hi, little guy.
I'm done.
DreamWorks Pictures presents Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, Galaxy Quest.
You're just gonna have to kill it.
Well, go for the mouth, the throat, his vulnerable spots.
It's a rock. It doesn't have any vulnerable spots.
I literally just watched this movie last night, but like as I was watching that trailer, I was just like giggling to myself, and it's like I want to watch it again.
There are some real like giggle-inducing moments in this film, I must say.
All right, Nick. So, as per usual when we do this show, this was on your shame list. This was a movie that I had grown up watching. I also loved that it came out in the Christmas of '99. Like this is like probably the last movie to come out in 1999. What did you think of Galaxy Quest?
I had a real mixed reaction to it.
No.
And, no, don't.
Oh, no!
Hold your horses.
No, the horses.
They're running all over the place. There were moments where I was genuinely bored, particularly in the first act. There were some moments when I was disappointed. There were moments when I was...
Where's the butt coming?
There were moments when I was inspired.
Okay.
And there were moments when, like, I was really proud of both the cast and the filmmaking team. It was like I was ambivalent in a way that I'm more so than perhaps any other film. Like, typically I either like a film or I don't like a film, like, but I know what I think about it. This one, I was back and forth in a way that was very interesting to me.
So where do you land on it, though? Like, where's this needle? Is it leaning towards not liking it, liking it? Come on, help me out here.
I don't think that the needle is going to land. I think I think the mixed reaction is the landing point. I think there are some things that I really like about this movie. And there are some things that I don't like about this movie. And that's what the movie is. It's for me, not that's my reaction to it. Where I can't say categorically that I don't like this movie. And I can't say categorically that I do like this movie. Both of them exist at the same time.
I don't know how to take that.
The answer is personally. You should take it personally.
No, it's more so. It's like, I don't necessarily care that if someone likes it or dislikes it, but like you're being so damn neutral. How are we supposed to have a conversation about this?
But I don't feel neutrally about it. I feel ambivalent. I'm feeling both things simultaneously, which was a fascinating thing for me to realize as I was watching. Like it became clear to me about 2/3 of the way through the film that both things were happening simultaneously, and I've never had that reaction before, which was a cool, unique experience to have.
Okay, fair enough. I can accept that.
And I'll get into the whys and hows as we go on. The closest reaction that to a piece of media that I've had, like what kind of it felt most familiar to me, was The Big Bang Theory.
Interesting.
And it's like this. It's a portrayal of nerd culture that misses the mark for me.
Interesting.
And I don't quite want to get into it just yet, but I do in this episode want to talk a bit about gatekeeping.
Okay.
Because as I was analyzing my reaction to the movie, I wondered if I wasn't as anti-gatekeeping as I am. I wondered if part of my mixed reaction wasn't coming from a space akin to gatekeeping. I've been challenging myself in post watching the film to see if I'm not part of my own problem here. Which I very well could be, as somebody who loves Star Trek. And it didn't land for me as a love letter to Trek. It felt more like using nerd culture as a plot point. And I'm not saying that was their intention. Like, for all I know, everybody involved is a huge, like, sci-fi fan who was genuinely writing a love letter, and it just that part of it didn't quite connect with me. And I speak primarily, this reaction was the first half of the film. The convention sequence and the really nerdy viewers who get dressed up and are kind of the butt of the jokes for like when the actors who are or I should say the characters who are a little out of touch are approaching the actors and steving them out a bit because they're too into it. It's like, I don't know, I'm kind of one of those people. So like, what is that, what is this film saying about me as some, that was off-putting to me.
That's fair.
And I'm not, I would never go up to an actor and be like, oh my God, in episode 75, I'm thinking it, but I have enough social filter not to do it. But that's just one example of how this portrayal of nerd culture, when presented to a general audience, like in The Big Bang Theory, tends to use their enthusiasm as the butt of a joke rather than presenting it in the spirit that everybody is at that convention for.
Now I legitimately would like to get your opinion about the movie Trekkies, because it's made by Star Trek fans about Star Trek fans, and let me tell you. So I should also say, I love this movie. I grew up watching this movie. I also came to Star Trek a lot later.
Right.
Weirdly enough, like, I had seen this before Star Trek. Seeing this and then the documentary Trekkies, granted that's only a small subsection of Trek fans, but fuck, the people in that movie, in that documentary Trekkies, are very similar to these people that you're saying. I don't want to say not real. That's not like weren't your truth. They're not your truth.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say that those attendees are my truth, and I didn't like how they were being portrayed.
Interesting.
Now let me give you the other side of that. Again, ambivalence. I had strong reactions in both directions. Let me give you the other side of the scale. When you see them go up on the spaceship and because they're actors, they don't know what they're doing and they screw things up, and it kind of becomes a comedy or a fish out of water style comedy. It became less, and this is a strong word, I wouldn't say that I felt offended, but whatever that was in the first act, I was feeling less of it in the second act. But then it was just kind of generic comedy, and this also taps into another love-hate relationship that I have with the actor Tim Allen. Like, my dad loved Home Improvement, the show, growing up, so I ingested a lot of like Tim Allen comedy growing up. The Santa Claus, I've actually read both. I don't know if he wrote more, but his first two books.
He wrote books?
Yep.
Interesting.
I think one was called "Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man." I can't remember the other one. But they like, he talks about his cocaine addiction, and like a lot of his comedy plays on misogyny, which is off-putting to me. And not necessarily in this film, but just seeing him on screen already, I'm bringing some of that baggage that I have to the film. So that's another complicating factor. However, I think this movie really shines in the third act, prior to them returning back to the convention where all those feelings were brought back up again. Once they figure out how to be heroes, I think the filmmakers, the writers, and the actors were really smart in they kind of dropped the comedy part, a few gags in there, but once they became heroes, then it was playing out like a Star Trek episode. And I thought that was really smart. Like, they could have written it in a way that still had the kind of jokes in there, but they didn't. And that was when I really started getting excited about the content. I was surprised at how much it felt like a Star Trek episode once they were done with the fish out of water part of the story.
I'd be curious if upon a rewatch how you would feel. I'm wondering if
myself as well.
For lack of a better term, the shock of what you were not responding to, like, once that's kind of worn off, or like, so like you said, you're not necessarily the biggest Tim Allen fan, which, you make some valid points about why he doesn't work for you. Because I know for myself, there's been times in the past where, like, I'll come into a movie with just whatever expectations, good, bad, ambivalent, whatever, and I'll come in and just something. It just there was just a complete shock to my system about the film, and it definitely takes like a rewatch for me to appreciate what the film is. Like, actually, I think a perfect example of that would be a movie that you really like, High Fidelity. First time I saw that movie, I was shocked by how much I fucking hated that lead character.
Me too. Me too.
But then, like,
and I still do, but I think that was part of the story, like that was part of the narrative that they were telling, and that the conclusion of the film acknowledges that.
Yeah. So I'd be curious how you feel on rewatch, and I will say, like, the issues that you have with, like, the nerd culture and the convention goers. I personally didn't feel any of that. Granted, you're on a different level of fandom with Star Trek than I am, but at the same time, I know what it's like to have extreme fandom like this. Like, I'm no stranger to conventions. Right. I don't go to Star Trek conventions, but I go to a lot of horror conventions.
Yeah, and I should clarify, I don't go to Star Trek conventions either, but I do go to gaming conventions and kind of generic nerd conventions.
Let me ask you this. We'll get back on the topic of Galaxy Quest in just a second. But since we're on this topic of depiction of nerd culture, how do you feel about Kevin Smith's movies? Because he depicts nerd culture in a very exaggerated, almost not real way as well, with the way, like, especially in, like, Chasing Amy and that convention scene, the way that the comic book nerds are around Stan Lee and Mallrats. How do you feel about his depiction of these things?
I think I have a feeling that my reaction about the fandom in the Red Bank films is probably similar to your reaction of the Star Trek fans in Galaxy Quest, in that since I was not a huge... I read comic books, but more selectively, and I tend not to go for most of the mainstream storylines. I'm not a Marvel guy. I enjoy some Dark Horse, and Batman is one that I've enjoyed, but for the most part, I don't identify as a comic book nerd. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have as visceral of a reaction as I did to the Star Trek nerds.
Interesting.
So that to more concisely answer your question, no, the way that nerd culture was portrayed in the Red Bank films did not put me off. But that is I think a result of the nerd perspective that I was coming at it from, not necessarily the work that the respective filmmakers did.
I don't really have a follow up to that. It was just fascinating. It was interested in if, like you said, the perspectives everything. Like, and like I said, well, I don't necessarily feel the way that you do about the way that those scenes are written, because funny enough, that's actually some of my favorite stuff in this movie. I can get where you're coming from with it.
Right. Like the actual aliens that come, they have their dialect was different, and when the actors who portrayed these, I need to specify because we have like Inception levels of actor in this, because the actual actors are playing actors who are playing ship crew that actually became a ship crew. So when Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver and Alan Rickman were approached by the actual aliens who had a particular manner of speaking, how it came off to the celebrities was, oh, you're just weird, right? They didn't question their humanity because the weird way that they were talking felt like they were weird people, which made sense in the convention setting.
But at the same time, like, so granted, we can only go off of what we've seen on the movie. Yeah. Tim Allen's character is the only one that interacted with them at first, and he's just so far up his own ass as a character that he's probably not even paying attention to the way that they're talking or the way that they look. Like you said, he's probably just thinking, well, you guys are clearly in a costume and you're talking this way because you're committed to a bit. That's the way I read it, is that he's just like It's very much like that scene in the limo where he's like, I'm going to close my eyes. You guys just keep talking.
Which they're like, going back to the high fidelity comparison, what ended up, what altered my perception of that character was that when the end came around, I believed his journey and accepted that this was a film about an asshole who at the end starts to understand that he's an asshole, right? Tim Allen's character in Galaxy Quest is also an asshole, a self-absorbed, and this isn't to detract from the hero part of the film. Again, I think that was pretty great. I'm not detracting from that. However, in terms of a character, like, he learned how to be a hero, but he didn't redeem himself as an asshole to me.
Okay.
Like, there is a distinction that I would draw between those two characters, and that's not to say that the character in High Fidelity is a better person. If anything, I think he's a worse person. I think he's pretty terrible. And Tim Allen, like, it's good casting to pit him as the Captain Kirk I'm blanking. As a Trekkie, I'm blanking on the actor that plays Captain Kirk. Help me out. William Shatner, thank you. Like, that felt like kind of good casting to me. That worked for me. You could tell what they were going for when they cast Tim Allen as the actor who portrayed the captain of the Star Trek-like series.
Yeah.
But, like, his redemption story was not strong. It was more like, yeah, now I'm just as awesome as I always thought I was. And this isn't a problem that I have with this particular story. It's more of like, if we're comparing it to High Fidelity, I do see a departure in their character arcs.
See, and I will disagree with you.
Okay.
As someone who is very critical about assholes not learning their lesson, i.e. Bill Murray and fucking Ghostbusters.
Right.
Which is why
Points.
Ghostbusters 2...
Absolutely.
Which is why, for me, Ghostbusters 2 was better. Granted, I've only seen High Fidelity the one time, so please correct me if I'm missing stuff. I feel like... I don't remember his character name, so I'm just going to call him Mr. High Fidelity.
I was trying to come up with it, too.
Mr. High Fidelity, through the entire movie, is this fucking just truly an asshole and just a whiny kind of jerk. And it's not until, like, the last fucking scene that he has some sort of revelation.
Literally, like, the last 3 minutes of the film.
Whereas with Tim Allen's character, I feel like we see growth through the film, and
I don't disagree with you.
You see growth through the film, and while in the end he is portraying this level of person that he's always viewed himself as, I think he's changed mentally. That he's not like, look how fucking cool I am. He's just finding within himself to be a better person. The point is made even stronger just by little things throughout it. The fact that when he has to admit to Mathesar that he's been lying to them, and he apologizes to him. That's something that this character wouldn't have done at the beginning of the film. Another thing is,
I don't disagree with
that.
Like,
something. It's a small thing, but like after they've defeated the alien at the convention and whatnot, he goes to take a bow, but then he requests the rest of his cast come up and do it with him. He's sharing the spotlight. The way I've always viewed a character is, will the decisions that this character's making at the end of the film be decisions that they would make at the beginning of the film? And I don't think anything that Tim Allen's character has done in this film from a certain... I'm just going to say it was something vague, like at a certain point, I don't think these are decisions that he was capable of making. And so that's where I feel like Tim Allen's growth is stronger in this film than, say, something like Mr. High Fidelity's growth. I don't remember that fucking character's name. I can't even think of the actor right now.
I want to say John, but that's not it. Is John why am I blanking so hard today?
I don't know. Let's look up High Fidelity real quick. So, like,
thank you.
I personally just think his growth is scripted so well that I think he has changed significantly as a character.
I don't disagree with you. I think maybe what is, and I'm speculating here
it's
because
Rob, by the way, Rob Gordon.
Rob, yes,
fucking Rob.
And actually, Rob, we are talking about someone else.
Mom's not too bad, but Laura, I don't know.
Yeah, well, she's had a rough time of it already. Without this, it's just so hard when you put all of your efforts into one area of your life and it doesn't work out.
Don't mind me, really. It's no problem. Just pretend like you're talking about someone else. It's okay.
Well, in fact, we are talking about someone else. We're talking about Laura.
Oh.
Oh?
Don't fucking say oh like that to me, Liz.
I'm still exploring this as we're, like, unpacking it live, but maybe the reason why... I don't disagree with any of the points you said. And Rob in High Fidelity does not change. Like, we don't see the change. All we see is acknowledgement that he believes himself to be an asshole. That's it. Mm-hmm. Which is a form of change.
Well, it's not necessarily, because you can admit that you're an asshole, but then change nothing. We don't know where his life would have gone after the credits.
Just the fact that he acknowledged it is a change. Now, will it lead to more and actually substantial change? We don't know. But the acknowledgement is a change. But I think maybe why I don't buy into his change is because of the performance or the actor, and that could go back to the issues that I have with Tim Allen. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'm just skeptical of it all because of the baggage that I brought to the film, and maybe if that's not the case, then I didn't buy his performance as somebody who's changed. I agree with all the points you made. Yep, he brought the rest of the crew up, which he wouldn't have done before. Absolutely. Yes, he, instead of just taking the easy way out, he acknowledged that he was lying, though that was also kind of part of his ruse, if I'm remembering correctly, which I might not be, to kind of, like, get an advantage over the big space orc. But
no,
I think
it wasn't part of a ruse. He was kind of trapped, and the Mathazar was being tortured, and it was pretty much but unimportant.
But maybe just Tim Allen's performance felt hollow, whereas, like, even though it didn't demonstrate any like meaningful change, like, I fucking believed that moment at the end of High Fidelity where he's like, oh shit, maybe I've been a dick. Like, I 100% believed that performance.
Interesting. But hey, one thing I think is important to mention about all of this is, this show has always been about exploration of your own fandom and and being truthful. I think it's perfectly okay, and I feel like not enough people sometimes feel this. It's perfectly okay to be like, something's not clicking with me because of me, because of my baggage, because of what I'm bringing into this, and that's perfectly okay. Like I said, I came into Ghostbusters with my own personal baggage. I was very I kind of hated a lot of the fandom around that movie when I came into that movie, so I know that colored some of my perspective. And the nice thing about doing this show, and if people aren't aware of this, they should be, there is no right or wrong. Anything you're saying is not necessarily truth. It's all opinion.
I like to think of our podcast as more like film therapy than it is film analysis.
I've often felt that, like, it's sometimes therapy for ourselves or working through some complex feelings. Like, it's, and here's the thing too: we're allowed to change our minds. This might be how,
absolutely.
Right, you know, what I think works so well about this show is a lot of times we are going off of our kind of knee-jerk reaction. With the, you know, we have a little bit of time to ruminate on things, but we're realistically going off of our first perspective because it's a first-time viewing.
Yeah.
You know, you might watch it a couple years from now and be like, "Holy shit, this works so much better than it did the first time for me," or vice versa. You know, who knows? Yep. Who knows?
And while I'm skeptical that my opinion will change that much, I acknowledge that it's possible. Well, and maybe this is a good time to get into the gatekeeping part of the conversation, because I started to wonder as I was, you know, breaking down my notes for this, like, am I gatekeeping? Where is the line between my feelings of, like, not wanting the culture to be represented regardless of the intensity of the presentation as, like, the butt of the joke? Look at how nerdy these nerds are. And how much, at what point does that become gatekeeping? You know, how much is my reaction coming from, I love Star Trek, and this feels off to me, therefore you did it wrong. You know, there's possibly some of that in there. I try not to, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to have that reaction. Mm-hmm. So I don't have that answer yet. I don't know whether or not I'm being a gatekeeping dick about this, or if I'm defending the humanity of people who are passionate about their hobbies. You know, at what point does one become the other, or is it both at the same time? I don't know.
And actually, one of the listeners, Ron, says that's the reason he doesn't watch The Big Bang Theory, because that's not what he feels like being a nerd. Yeah. But
I'm like, as somebody who's passionate about many of those same things that they're representing on The Big Bang Theory, I can't say this because I don't know, but it feels to me like people who aren't a deep part of that culture using it as a plot point. And that, maybe that's not true. Though, like, I totally acknowledge that, but that's the feeling, like, it feels off. It's like the uncanny valley of nerdism.
And to play devil's advocate, I will also say I acknowledge your thoughts and Ron's thoughts, and I 100% believe that, like, that is not how you view yourself as a nerd. But that's also not to say that there aren't people out there like this who also
other nerds.
This is true to them. It's like I'm involved with a lot of places for the horror world. And I'll say this as someone who is a diehard horror fan. Most horror fans annoy the shit out of me. and also, like, when I do see stuff like that's kind of skewering them, I'm like, yeah, this is accurate, and this is why I don't like a lot of them. Like,
right.
Like,
right.
Maybe it's also a thing where, yes, it is a heightened view of nerddom, both Big Bang Theory, Galaxy Quest.
I don't know that it's heightened. Like, there's definitely people that are like the way that they've portrayed.
I'm also wondering too if it's just like having a mirror turned on you a little bit, like
totally.
It's like being like, wait, is this how people fucking see me? Is this what I'm like?
Yeah.
Like, and like I said, maybe it made you uncomfortable for that reason, or
totally.
Who knows?
Yeah. Well, and I'm trying to think of. Okay, so I'm a big Dungeons and Dragons nerd, and I watch anybody who is at all Dungeons and Dragons adjacent has probably at least heard of Critical Role. It's insanely it's insanely successful. It blows my mind. That is a community, or at least what they portray, is a very loving and accepting environment for nerdism, if you will. And I think that is not just Critical Role. I think there is a lot of, all of us middle-aged people that were nerds in high school that were picked on and bullied. Like, now we're older and we're bigger and we can say, you know what? We're still going to like it, and screw you if you don't, and we're going to love each other for what we like. And so, like, could this be coming from a place of defensive, a defensive place? Absolutely. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. That's what therapy's for.
It's interesting. And I'm not like saying anything you're saying is wrong. I'm just kind of just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, no,
and just trying to help you get to the bottom of it. Because like
I love this conversation and the way that it's heading. I'm not taking any of it personally, and most of what you said, I'm like, yeah, that's just as likely as anything else.
Another example I was thinking of, like, I think we've both talked about how we're both fans of the TV show Community.
I actually have not seen it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I've seen one or two episodes.
One of the characters is kind of like a heightened nerd and is considered kind of like the gem of the TV show. So
yeah, it's also, this could, like, with a lot of these portrayals, it also, and I was thinking of this with the alien race and Galaxy Quest, like, does it start to move into, like, the autism spectrum? Because a lot of people on the autism spectrum have these strong singular passions and tend to be represented in a way that has some negative connotation to it. And obviously this is all, like, every year that goes by, there are more voices saying it's not okay to use that as a plot point, where I guess plot point isn't the right thing, but, like, it's not okay to just go, yep, they're weird and awkward, without going into their story. And I wondered if there wasn't some of that happening, which would be on brand for the late 90s, where they're not saying this person is autistic, but they're using those types of characteristics to go, this person is awkward and outside of the norm, in a way that, like, even if that's not there, it just, like, makes me a little uncomfortable.
Interesting. I'd never read it that way.
And again, like, maybe none of that's in there. I don't know. I wasn't in the writer's room.
Yeah.
There's obviously nothing overt about it. We're talking about subtleties and our understanding of social structures in various points in time, and it gets complicated.
This is not where I imagined this conversation to go.
Well,
but not in a bad way.
Just that. Hey, that's the great part of having a podcast.
Yeah, cinetherapy. Well, one thing I wanted to talk about is, because I think it could be an interesting discussion, because these terms are used a lot of times very interchangeably. Parody versus satire.
Okay.
And where do you feel like this film lands, if it lands in either one of those, and like how you view it? Because, like, one thing that, like, I'm sure there's a genre name for something like this, like a subgenre, but, like, I've always found myself liking movies that were like, it's a send up of something, but it also still is that thing. So, like, this is poking fun at science fiction, high concept science fiction, Star Trekian stuff, whatever. But it also is that thing as well. It's not just poking fun at it, because in the end it becomes that thing. Or
it also exists within itself.
Yeah, or like Tropic Thunder is a movie making fun of Hollywood and war films, but then becomes that in the end.
Which I have not seen that. That is on my to-watch list.
Walk Hard is making fun of biopics, but also of music biopics, but also is one just for a fictional person. So,
right,
you know,
I wouldn't consider it satire because I don't think it's using it as like a critique or a criticism of anything. I think it starts out, or I wouldn't even say it starts. I think there is parody in it, but I think it stops being a parody, or when it stops being a parody, that's where it really takes off. Like, I don't enjoy the parody parts of the film, and I really enjoy the parts of the film that are not parody.
So let me ask you this, because I'm one of those people that uses the two terms interchangeably. How do you define satire versus parody?
I think it's in the intent. If you're spoofing something or using these references to criticize something, to comment on something bigger, that's satire.
Okay.
I feel
like that's kind of how I used it without realizing how I was using it.
where I did not pick up on any bigger points where they were using the nerd culture or convention culture or Star Trek or anything to make some bigger social point. I think it was in parts it is simply parody for the point of humor, which is fine. But those parts of the movie were the parts that I didn't enjoy, and when it stops being parody and it's more love letter, that's when it really takes off. Then I was like, oh shit, when did this become a great film? Like I found myself shocked at how much my opinion changed because of, like, not anything that was happening within me, but because the filmmakers made tone changes and the actors made tone changes, and it was intentionally constructed that way. I think most people enjoyed all of it, as was indicated by, you know, the critical reaction and the critics' reaction and the box office numbers. Like, a lot of people enjoyed it. And I think some of what made it more appealing to a general audience are some of the same things that put me off.
That's fair. I'm curious, like, and this is not really something that can be answered as of right now, but I'd be curious to see, like, if you were able to do a rewrite on it, how you would handle that first act.
Oh, so much of it would depend on, like, the parameters that I was put under, like, why am I rewriting it? What is my goal in rewrite? Like, there's way too many questions for me to answer that simply.
All right. Well, then let's pivot a little bit. And let's talk about other than the Tim Allen role, which we've talked about, like, how your feelings on. Because this is a pretty star-studded cast.
Surprisingly star-studded. And it's, I forget the actor's name, but the kid that plays Brandon, wasn't this his first film?
Yeah.
Justin Long.
Yeah, Justin Long. This is like one of his first films.
And I was so glad that his character was so integrated into the back half of the film. Mm-hmm. Again, it's part of that, like, where the film kind of redeemed itself for me, because the kid that was being portrayed as one of those nerds that the cool people did not have fucking time for, like, now they all of a sudden needed him. And it's, again, part of my reaction to this film could just be that it's poking in those, like, those old scars of mine.
It could be.
Because I was that kid that was picked on. It's like, someday you're going to need me, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, like, we can talk about, like, the cast and, like, their characterizations and everything here in a minute, but, like, that's one thing I think this film does so brilliantly, is it's phenomenal at calling back on itself. So, you know, you have the Justin Long character when he first comes up to the table, and he is excessive, and he's being used for the joke, and And I'm sure when people saw this back in '99, Justin Long was a nobody, so they like probably thought, okay, this character is just going to come and go.
I expected to not see him again.
We need, he comes back again because he needs to bump into Taggart and they need to switch their thingies or whatever. Because that's a joke all in itself. But then, like, it calls back on him, like his Taggart remembers those fucking questions he was being asked, and then
I know just who to call.
Yeah. And then, and it's not even just that moment, but like the way that they brought back the rock monster. They could have come back. They had the rock monster on the planet that they defeated, and then they brought it back in a different way. I
failing to remember the how they brought it.
They
back.
brought him back because they had to like clear out a room. So Tony
Shalhoub's
and they
character, beamed it up.
who at one point couldn't even fucking use that machine because he was so scared, was able to confidently teleport that rock monster into that room and destroy them all. Or even just like one of my favorite callbacks in the movie, like, you have Alan Rickman's character who has that fucking line that he hates, by Grathgar's hammer or whatever.
One of the two highlights of the film for me was him delivering that line to the alien who it was so important to that like dying alien, he looked up to him so much, and Alan Rickman is so great. For all the issues that I have with Tim Allen, every single other actor in this film is so good, and maybe that's part of why Tim Allen wasn't quite enough. Again, I acknowledged earlier in this recording, I think he was the right actor to be tasked in that role. But everybody's so good, and when Alan Rickman delivers that line with so much heart and understanding of how much he needed to hear it, he refound the beauty in something that he had said a billion times and had lost all meaning.
It's like, well, look at the beginning of the film when he's, I don't remember the fucking line, but by Rackgar's hammer, wow, what savings. To that moment.
Yes.
And, I anyone who is, when I was a kid and I hadn't seen any Star Trek, I could watch this and pretty much tell you who each person was.
Oh, yep. He's Spock.
It's that obvious. As someone who didn't watch it, and this is a movie I had seen quite a bit as a kid. I had not seen it again since it was on VHS. So this is my first rewatch since childhood, and I'm not gonna lie, I was going in kind of scared. I remember liking this movie.
Does it hold up?
This is because I don't ever hear anyone talk about Galaxy. I know it's got a cult following, but no one I personally know had really ever seen the film.
Yeah, I was very aware of it the whole time, but didn't really feel pulled to.
But I was actually surprised how well it worked on me again, and a big part of it is because of this cast. Not even just Alan Rickman, but I think Tony Shalhoub is such an incredible character in this, or even Sam Rockwell's character.
Yeah.
It's kind of the heart of this film.
Where they have that conversation about how I'm the one who's going to die. Do I even have a last name? What is it? Yeah, I'm going to be the first one to go.
I love when they brought back Galaxy Quest, the Next Generation or whatever. He had the longest fucking name of any character.
It's I'm sticking around, bitches.
What I found so endearing about this most recent rewatch is that, one, I feel like every character has an arc.
Yeah.
Of some sort. But then I also loved seeing these actors who they're skewering, real people. So Alan Rickman is kind of the Leonard Nimoy of this and so on and so forth. But then I also, as I was watching, this is something that was lost to me as a kid, and maybe it wasn't necessarily there, but knowing these people's careers far more now, I can see it. It's also skewering themselves.
Sure, they're all actors.
Look at Alan Rickman is a classically trained.
When he's sitting in the makeup chair before the convention in the beginning, I'm like, he is playing himself.
Yeah, because he's he's a classically trained actor, who's done a lot of fucking British theater. Who's doing this movie?
Who also was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is another, like, I'm pretty sure that Hitchhiker's Guide came out later, but, like, I was seeing some parallels there as well.
Or
where
like
he's this classically trained actor who was in a big sci-fi
or Sigourney
title.
Weaver kind of being used as, like, the sex symbol of this film.
Yeah.
Because I know that was something she struggled with in her own career.
And it was so funny to see, like, her cleavage in the old footage, and then it cuts to her, the real person in the uniform, and it's, like, normal. She's still obviously very beautiful, but it's not like that overly sexualized version of herself. And it's interesting seeing all of those
even
little
like
details they put in.
Yeah, or even like Sam Rockwell at this point. Like, Sam Rockwell was not a big name at this point. Like, let's see, this was 99. Just because now I am curious, let's take a look at Sam Rockwell's, like, filmography in 99. Like, you know, he had done... So he was in The Green Mile, which I think was probably, like, his biggest film up to that point, and then had done a lot of indie films. So, like, you know, here you have a guy who's supposed to be playing, like, this no-name guy kind of chasing fame, being played by a guy who's kind of a nobody at that time. So
right.
It's like, these are, like, perspectives that I feel like mean a lot more with some time.
Yes.
Because, like, look at Alan Rickman's character, you know, kind of hated, you know, his character in the movie hated doing this role, because he felt he was meant for better things. And then by the end of the film, he's like, you know, I should be thankful that there's people out there that love what I do, and I can bring a lot into this. I don't know what Alan Rickman was like as a person, so I'm just spitballing
Speculating, yeah.
But, like, you know, you have someone who started off, like I said, you know, doing fucking Shakespeare in the Park and was classically trained at acting, and then kind of got his big break in Die Hard. You know, I wonder if there was some of that with him.
The way that I would word it is, I think regardless of what Alan Rickman the person is like, I think he was able to bring a lot of truth to his performance based on his career.
But then, like, you know, it's like then Alan Rickman would later go on to do fucking 8 Harry Potter movies, and
right.
But was able to bring all of his gravitas to that. So I don't know. I don't know if the point I'm trying to make is clicking here, but
oh, absolutely. I mentioned that Alan Rickman's, like, delivering that line as the other guy's swan song was one of my favorite moments, and I'd like to mention the other one was Tony Shalhoub when they're first trying to operate the spaceship, and he's in engineering, and he comes up on the screen, and he's kind of looking over his shoulder, and he's like, they're telling me that the engines can't take it anymore, I guess. They're maxed out, and I guess they did. I love Tony Shalhoub. This is a version of Tony Shalhoub that I haven't quite seen. Like, every performance of his is pretty starkly different. He doesn't stay in any one lane, and I really enjoyed him.
The follow-up scene to that, where he comes back again, he's a little bit more confident this time, and he's like, oh, they're saying this, or this, and he's like, right again. Bring it in, guys. Bring it in.
Right, yeah. Hey.
Or, like, later on when he was like, he's like, you guys see that? The door stuck a little bit. I'll call one of my boys and have him come put some WD-40 on. Like, Amanda was commenting on just how, like, he's so, like, proud of these, of his team. And he has no idea, like, I also love that he's the only one who's, like, pretty comfortable with this stuff. Like, just for some reason, he's eating snacks when they're all, like, panicking and shit.
I feel like he's the only one who's not playing an actor.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, he somehow got this role. Like, he probably wandered into the casting of the original Galaxy Quest TV show and just happened to get it. And he's like, cool, yeah, I can do that. But he's not an actor, you know, with a capital A's. So when he's in this, he's like, oh, yeah.
Well, even like Tim Allen has that line. It's like, you always remembered your lines. You always hit your marks. Like, he never said he was a good actor. It's like, but you always hit your marks.
Right. Oh, that was great. Okay, here's the note that I said when we were talking about parody. What I wrote is, it played an interesting line between parody, fish out of water story, and Star Trek episode. Then it gets cheesy again at the convention at the end in a way that I'm not okay with. Like, they had it. I feel like they got it all together, and then for the sake of wrapping things up, it like... Which, again, for all the reasons we've already talked about, is part of, like, I think my personal hang-up with a lot of things. Like, there's a lot going into my reaction to this. And we've said this a billion times before. I've warned against it over and over and over and over again. What you bring to a film, the expectations you have, your experiences, that all affects how... what your reaction to a film is. And this is just a really strong example of that for me, I think.
No, I think that's fair. Really did not know you had such a strong feeling about Tim Allen.
Who knew?
Yeah.
While I think it was always there, I don't think I ever thought about it that hard until now.
It's funny because, like, I'm a little bit younger than you. I don't view Tim Allen that way because it's like he always felt like a father figure to me growing up because of something like Home Improvement or the Santa Claus, and you know, he almost but yet, like, he does have that little bit of rugged, like, assholishness. Funny enough, from what I read, apparently at one point, well, Harold Ramis was originally attached to direct this. But funny enough, he didn't want to fucking work with Tim Allen. But then at one point, Alec Baldwin was supposed to play the Tim Allen role.
Okay. I wonder how my reaction would have changed with somebody else in that role. It could have very likely impacted my reaction.
And then I'd also be curious, like, if they would have went this direction. I don't know if the movie would have worked as well if they would have went this direction. But one early idea they had for it was to just make it very meta and have the Star Trek actors in it.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
So, like, you have Leonard Nimoy there being like, I'm not saying that line again.
Right? Like,
or you have William Shatner stealing all the fucking publicity and...
And does it work if they're like the phrase Galaxy Quest instead of Star Trek?
It was going to be about Star Trek.
Okay, then have you seen the movie Always Be My Maybe?
No, I didn't see that.
Okay. Well, Keanu Reeves has a role in it where he plays himself.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like a really pretentious asshole, crazy version of himself. Like nothing like how he really is, but he's still Keanu Reeves, the actor. Right. Where, like, I wonder if it falls into a similar role if you had the Star Trek characters playing a fictional story that's like similar to truth, but still fiction, like historical fiction.
I don't know if it would have worked as well for me. For two reasons. One, we kind of got that in Futurama already.
Can people who hate Star Trek leave?
Good question.
No, you have to stay even longer.
Right? The one episode. Oh, yeah. I love that episode.
But then two, like, let's separate your personal feelings about Tim Allen for a second. I don't think William Shatner could have done this role justice in both comedy and emotion, because, like, Tim Allen's not a bad actor. He's definitely known for comedy, but he showed in this that he has other elements to him, and I don't know if William Shatner could have done that.
Sure.
I don't know. Like, I feel like William Shatner could have probably done gotten some of those comedy beats and everything. I feel like he would have been fine with that. I don't know if he would have been able to, like, sell the growth in the end the way that Tim Allen did.
Now I'm trying to think back to the Futurama episode to see if he, like, accomplished that in that episode. Because surprisingly, like, as you bring up that episode,
I don't think he did. Because there's actually that great, like, I feel like He is just playing that one note the entire time.
Yeah, and that's part of the whole gag of the episode. Interesting.
Yeah.
I do think, like, on the whole, the acting was really great. All right, what else do my notes say? Oh, I have two more things I'd like to mention.
Okay.
One of them, and you're going to have to help me out because I only I don't exactly remember the events around this, but I remember it really bothered me at the time. So here's what I wrote down, and I'll let you translate it for me based on your better understanding of the film.
Okay.
If that had been a bomb, he would have destroyed so much.
What?
Wasn't there something that he didn't know whether or not he believed it to be a bomb, but it wasn't or something, and he was threatening to use it.
Well, the Omega-13, but no one knew what it did.
Yeah, but Tim Allen was willing to set it off.
The Omega thing.
The Omega thing. He was willing to set it off, thinking that it he was given two options. It's either a bomb or it's this other thing. And he was like, okay, I'm going to set it off. If it had been the other thing, that would have been genocide.
Well, at the same time...
He was lucky that it wasn't.
He was put in a situation where everyone was fucking getting massacred. So it was either make that decision. That is a Kirk move. Kirk was definitely the type of person who would have, he reacted with his gut.
I agree, but the only reason why he still gets to be a hero at the end is because the writers decided that wasn't a bomb. And
well, that's movie making, Nick.
If
that's
it had
the
been
job
a bomb,
of a writer.
He would have been a monster, and he did not know for sure. In that moment, he's like, well, I'm going to roll the dice and maybe blow up half the universe.
That's every movie, though. That's every movie. You have those
I'm not
choices.
okay with that. I'm not okay with you risking blowing up half the universe. That is not a hero. That is a sociopath.
Like I said, Kirk's made decisions like that.
Totally. And I think we all agree that Kirk was a monster.
The imposter may be identified by scratches on his face. Repeat, the imposter is not to be injured.
I'm Captain Kirk! I'm Captain Kirk!
But at the same time, no one knew what it was. Someone had thought, oh, maybe it's a bomb, but Justin Long's character gave him a really strong case that it's a lot of us believe it's this thing, but no one knows.
My recollection is that Justin Long was like, a lot of people think it's a bomb. I happen to think that it's something else. So, okay, maybe he's going with his belief in Justin Long's character. But
because
still,
Justin Long knows this world better than he does. It's him putting his faith in someone else.
And he put your life on the line in order to do that.
Yeah, but let's be real. If the universe just fucking ended like that, I wouldn't know why. I wouldn't have to pay taxes anymore.
Get involved in politics, kids. And then the last thing I have to say is...
I just have to, real quick, say, I love that you're commenting on that because you are a writer and you know about the writer's inconvenience. Or not the convenience
totally.
Of you shape the world how you want it to be.
But the writers also
Amanda makes a great
created.
point. Amanda makes a great point. I got the impression that they hadn't done that. The Earth was at risk anyways. So sometimes you just got to roll that dice. You got to roll that dice and hope that you get a natural 20 and not a nat 1.
And when you get a nat 1, bye-bye universe.
But he got the D20, so instead he got to do his 13-minute thing. And now I'm just thinking that me and you need to write a movie where we make all of our decisions based on dice rolls.
I love it.
Anyways, continue.
Going back to your point about the writers' dilemma. Yes, but the writers are the one that set up that choice. Like, the writers did not have to say, a lot of people think it's a bomb and it's going to blow up the universe.
That also adds suspense to it, because we don't... It's that whole Hitchcock thing again, where a mundane conversation is made far more interesting if you know there's a bomb under the table. How boring would it have been to be like, okay, we don't know what it is, but I think it's this thing. Well, then it adds no, like, stakes to that moment. It's like, I don't know what this is going to do, but I'm hoping it's going to fucking work out for me. It means so much more if you think it could be something negative.
Typically, when there's a bomb, a bad guy said it, and a good guy is trying to defuse it. Whereas in this case, a quote-unquote good guy is the one that lit the match to it, hoping that Justin Long was right. So that the setup of that, I think, undercuts Tim Allen's character's, like, heroism in activating it. I think the calculated risk was horrifically problematic.
I don't know. I guess I would have made the same choice. Because
you would have blown me up!
I would have rolled the dice and hoped for the best. I would have hoped that this choice has a positive ripple, as opposed to being like, well, I don't know. I think it's less heroic to be like, well, I have something that could potentially work, but I'm too afraid to do it because of what else it could cause. We had just finished The Good Place. It's the trolley incident. It's the trolley experiment of do you kill one person or 5? But someone's gonna potentially die.
Okay, I agree with the trolley incident. Yeah, but I don't think it makes him a hero.
I don't think he was necessarily trying to be a hero. I just think he was just trying... He was making a choice. Because, like, let's be real, Nick. If you were dying and watching everyone around you die, you sometimes just fucking react.
I would like to believe, and I think part of the reason why I have an issue with this is I would not have risked the lives of so many others to save the people on the ship. In the trolley incident, I would not throw the switch to kill 5 people, no, because the numbers are inverted in the trolley. It's like if the trolley is going to run over one person and you throw the switch thinking that there's a good chance it's going to run over 5 more, but maybe not. So there is something to the trolley metaphor, but the reason why I have a problem with it doesn't translate exactly to the trolley metaphor. Anyway, you know what? I would love to hear other people's reaction to that moment. Like, if you're listening to this and you are, like, yelling at your radio right now, that showed my age. The old radio.
I think what this shows, Nick, is I have faith and you do not.
In a guy you met for 1 minute at a convention?
Yes. The guy he met for 1 minute in a convention who was 100% right on everything else up until that point.
That is certainly how it turned out in the end. But up until that moment, in the Schrodinger's cat that is that moment, like, that was... I think he risked way too much. And that, in my opinion, while I don't think he was trying to be a hero in that moment, but he is certainly, like, he became heroic at the end. He was certainly portrayed as the hero that he always believed himself to be. I think that, for me, dramatically undercuts my belief in him actually deserving the heroism that he supposedly had at the end of that film.
And I believe that if they wouldn't have set up that it could potentially be a bomb, that ending wouldn't have been nearly as interesting.
The last thing that I'd like to say on Galaxy Quest...
This has been our most heated episode.
It's sassy. Is a review I saw on Letterboxd, which made me smile so much. The review...
love Letterboxd reviews.
The review is one sentence in all caps. This is the single greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. 3.5 stars.
That's Letterboxd in a nutshell.
I would love to go through that person and see like if literally everything else is 3 stars and lower, or if there's just some real discontinuity. I think there's something about that like, while it didn't match my feeling on it, like I appreciate the dissonance in like the two different reactions. It's so amazing. A 3.5 star movie. Like, I have a similar thing going on where, like, there's some beautiful moments in this film. There are long stretches of time where I was captivated and really enjoying myself. And then there are other parts of it that I just have real issues with, and it bounced back and forth in a way that was very jarring. All in all, like, I think I gave it either 3 or 3.5 stars. Like, there's a lot of
higher than I was expecting it to be.
I think the conversation leaned into the controversy, right? We're mostly discussing the parts where I didn't think it was great, because that's where, like, I think where we both wanted to dig into and see what's going on under it. But I did have a lot of very positive feelings about this film.
And if anything, much like how we have a term for we have our Thrill House moment. I think this movie also gave us something new. We have our Omega-13 situation. So anytime a character does something that feels like it changes the trajectory of their character, is now the Omega-13 situation.
Nice. I love it. We're gonna, like, I hope someday we have this, like...
We have a glossary.
Like, yes, exactly. The terms that they use and what they actually mean in their context. The real shame listeners know.
All three of you.
Whom we love very much. So yeah, that's my take on Galaxy Quest. Again, the conversation would lead a listener to believe that I disliked it more than I actually did. I would not say that I disliked this movie. I wouldn't say that I loved the movie. I had a lot of feelings about the movie, and in the spirit of this definition that we bring back, like, the worst sin that a film can commit is boring you or being forgetful or not giving you a reaction. This gave me a lot of reaction. So based on that definition, success.
Yeah, I was not expecting to have such a conversation for Galaxy Quest.
I think you offered, we've been talking about doing 2 films on deck, and you're like, all right, well, which one do you want to talk about first? I go, I think I want to talk about Galaxy Quest. I got some thoughts.
All right. Well, then we could probably wrap up here, and we could talk about some of the plans we've got coming up. Whether or not it'll be next or a little bit later on, because we want to try to get something going for Cineween. We are eventually going to be doing RoboCop.
Yes.
And then, so this last weekend I was at the Twisted Dreams Film Festival helping out the Troma booth.
Yeah.
And also working the Troma booth was one of our listeners, Katie Cadaver. And she had, so one of the things that I got for helping out the booth was Lloyd told me to take a couple Blu-rays, and I grabbed a copy of one of Lloyd's movie called Troma's War. And Katie's like, you should talk about that on the show. I was like, I should, because I can almost 100% guarantee Nick has not seen it.
I have not. I've seen a few Troma flicks, but not
and she said if we do Troma's War, she'd like to be on.
Awesome.
And then we got to figure out something spooky to do for Cineween.
Yes. I don't have anything. Let me check my list here. I've been keeping a pretty good... Okay, I actually do have a few options for you that I have on my list. Snakes on a Plane.
Never seen it.
Human Centipede.
I have seen that one.
I have not. They Live.
I have not seen that one.
Cannibal the Musical, which I know isn't like straight up horror, but it
is a
involves
Troma film,
cannibalism.
And I love that movie.
That's a Troma film?
That is a Troma film.
It
wasn't produced by Troma, but it was released by them.
Okay.
I actually have my copy signed by Lloyd Kaufman.
Nice. So those are the ones on my list that I think would work for Cineween.
Okay. I guess we can stew on that for a little bit. If any of our 3 listeners have a perspective of what they want to hear us talk about, let's go through that list one more time, Nick.
Oh, okay. Pulling it up. Snakes on a Plane.
Snakes on a Plane.
The Human Centipede.
Well, we already had one vote for not Human Centipede.
They Live.
They Live. So far, that's kind of where I'm thinking.
I think that's it. I think that's all I said.
Oh, and then Cannibal the Musical.
Oh, and Cannibal the Musical. That's right.
My vote, thus, right off the top of my head, would either be.
I also have Soylent Green. I also have Soylent Green on the list.
That one I have seen.
Okay, I have not seen any of those.
Okay, well, those are the picks, y'all. We have one.
Let's
vote.
do They Live.
All right.
Oh,
we also have a vote for Snakes on a Plane.
Okay.
Oh, now we actually have a vote.
All right, we'll have some off-camera discussions and figure it out.
And once again, not Human Centipede. Oh, Amanda voted for They Live.
Nice.
And she makes a good point because we almost saw it the other day. It was playing in a theater recently. And
nice.
We had almost went to go see it.
That got brought up when
another vote for They Live.
We were talking with. It wasn't the Austin Proctor conversation, was it? We were talking with somebody on the podcast, and we brought up They Live.
It very well could have been. Actually, I think it was, because the only reason I have a copy of that movie is because he's like, I've got 2 copies, I'll send you one. And he legitimately did. He sent me a copy of it.
Nice. So let's do They Live, and inspired by Austin Proctor.
Hell, we could probably even get him on the show.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
I know a guy. I'll text him right afterwards. All right, guys. Well, that has been our episode on Galaxy Quest. Obviously, as some of you have been watching along with this conversation, and we really appreciate it.
Yes,
let us know where you stand on this film. Like, is Nick gatekeeping? Is he gatekeeping? Are his perspectives truthful? How do you feel about the depiction of nerd culture in this film? Is Tim Allen a hero in this movie? What would you have done?
Or is he a sociopath for trying to blow up the world? Amanda
thinks you're a party pooper.
I don't disagree.
And where do you stand on Tim Allen as an actor? Let us know all these burning questions. And yeah. If you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you.
Hold on. No, you don't, because we wrote a new sign-off now.
I forgot what it is. Tell me.
Okay, well, tune in next time. Same shame time, same shame station, which is a bit of a tongue twister.
Same shame time, same shame station. Fuck. It works so much better over text.
When I texted you that, I go, did we just write a new closer? And you're like, yup, we sure did.
And then we just tried saying it, and it does not work. But we're going to stick with it.
I'm sticking to it.
Yeah,
I'm sticking to it. Same shame time, same shame station.
Yeah.
Sally sells seashells down by the seashore. The Shameless Picture Show is recorded in Milwaukee, Wisconsin and Easton, Maryland, and is hosted and produced by Nick Richards and Michael Viers. Today's episode was edited by Nick Richards. Our opening theme music was written especially for us by The Directionals, with narration by Zach McLean. The end credit music you're enjoying at the moment was generously provided by my friends in the band 10 Speed. The Shameless graphic design is masterfully done by Amanda Viers. An extra special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters and to our generous sponsors. We are on Spotify, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Google Play, and Libsyn. You can find links for all these amazing people in the description below.